What if I told you that the discomfort you avoid is the key to your strength? What if the very things that make you uneasy, that challenge you, that push you to your limits, are the exact things that will shape you into your best self? Today, we explore one of the most powerful truths of life. Stepping into discomfort builds resilience. A lesson taught by Stoic philosophers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, and practiced by the strongest individuals in history. The illusion of comfort. We live in a world that glorifies comfort. We have climate-controlled rooms, fast food delivered to our doors, entertainment at our fingertips. Everything is designed to minimize struggle. But here's the problem: comfort makes us weak. It softens the mind. It dulls the spirit. It robs us of the strength that only comes from hardship. Epictetus, the great Stoic philosopher, was born a slave. He had no choice but to endure suffering. But instead of breaking under its weight, he used it to forge an unshakable mind. He famously said, "Difficulties show what men are." Therefore, when a difficulty falls upon you, remember that God, like a trainer of wrestlers, has matched you with a tough opponent. This is the reality. If we avoid discomfort, we avoid growth. If we seek only ease, we will never become resilient. The science of discomfort and growth. Science supports what the Stoics knew centuries ago. When you expose your body and mind to controlled stress, they adapt. This is called hormesis, a biological phenomenon where small doses of stress actually make you stronger. Think about physical training. When you lift weights, you create tiny tears in your muscles. Your body repairs them, making them bigger and stronger. The same applies to mental and emotional resilience. If you never face struggle, you never develop the ability to endure. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your greatest ally. The more you embrace it, the stronger you become. The Stoic practice of voluntary discomfort. The Stoics didn't just accept discomfort, they practiced it. They voluntarily put themselves through hardship to toughen their minds and bodies. Seneca, a wealthy Roman statesman, would sleep on the floor and eat the simplest food, even though he could afford luxury. He did this to remind himself, "Is this what I feared?" He trained himself to be comfortable with discomfort, so that if misfortune ever struck, he would be prepared. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in Rome, refused to let comfort weaken him. He endured the burdens of war, sickness, and betrayal with a calm mind, because he had trained himself to be indifferent to pain. You and I can apply the same principle today. We can train ourselves through small acts of voluntary discomfort, taking cold showers, fasting, pushing beyond our limits in exercise, or stepping into situations that make us anxious. These practices build resilience, layer by layer, real-life examples of resilience through discomfort. History is full of individuals who became great not despite their suffering, but because of it. Nelson Mandela. Mandela spent 27 years in prison, enduring brutal conditions. But instead of becoming bitter, he used that time to strengthen his mind. When he finally walked free, he didn't seek revenge, he led a nation to unity. He didn't just survive suffering, he transformed through it. David Goggins. A modern-day example is David Goggins. A man who went from overweight and broken to one of the toughest endurance athletes in history. He intentionally seeks discomfort running ultramarathons, enduring Navy SEAL training, pushing beyond human limits. Why? Because he understands that suffering builds unbreakable resilience. Helen Keller. Born blind and deaf, Helen Keller had every reason to give up. But she didn't. She stepped into her discomfort, learning to communicate, to read, to inspire millions. She proved that resilience is not about what you're given, but about what you do with it. How you can start embracing discomfort. It's easy to admire these people, but what about you? How can you build resilience through discomfort? Take cold showers. A small but powerful habit. Every morning, step into cold water. Feel the shock. Resist the urge to retreat. Over time, you'll realize you control your mind, not the other way around. Practice fasting. Skip a meal. Go a day without food. Learn that hunger isn't an emergency, but a sensation you can master. This builds both discipline and gratitude. Do hard workouts. Push your body beyond its limits. Lift heavier. Run farther. Sweat. Struggle. Grow. Face your fears. Whatever you're afraid of, public speaking, rejection, failure, step toward it, not away. Each time you do, fear loses its power over you. Choose the harder path. When faced with two options, pick the harder one. Walk instead of drive. Read instead of scrolling. Engage instead of escaping. Closing message. My friends, resilience isn't built in comfort. It's built in fire. Every challenge, every hardship, every moment of discomfort is an opportunity to forge yourself into something greater. Remember this: you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your training. If you train yourself to embrace discomfort, nothing in life will break you. You will stand unshaken, unmovable, and unstoppable. As Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Now, step forward. Step into discomfort. Step into your strength.